Hello everyone, welcome aboard. This is the Bank of Canada, and Canadian citizens own it 100%. But in 1974, it was seized by the private banks and remains occupied. My name is Jim Ross, and I've been a project manager for most of my career. Several years ago, I saw a chart on Canada's debt from 1940 to 1987 prepared by Bill Abram. Bill tweaked my curiosity as to what an update to 2013 would look like. With the lawsuit between Comer and the Bank of Canada, I figured that this is important information to be known. Another of my motivators is the kids, as they're getting a very raw deal, and it's our responsibility to protect them. I hope this becomes a leading issue in the upcoming election, as it has been neglected for 40 years, and it's high time we have a public conversation. Typically, the government and media parrot the net federal debt of approximately $615 billion. There is much, much more. This is important information for every Canadian to know. It's your wallet. Okay, we'll start with 1940 to 1974. This is what it looked like. Boring, as it should be. We want a boring, transparent, and honest system. Cumulative debt to 1974 is the red line at $18 billion. Cumulative interest, the black line, at $29 billion. The beauty of this system is that the interest returns to the people, not the private banks. The cost per person in 1974 was $847, most palatable. In the 60s, a good house was $20,000. A new Mustang was $2,400. And gas was 8 cents per liter. Some people think that inflation is a natural phenomenon. It is not. It's theft. It is caused by excessive money printing. The system under the Bank of Canada provides safeguards from this happening. Next is the pie chart from 1867 to 1992. Our total debt was $423 billion. Of that, 91%, or $386 billion, was interest paid to the banksters. Actual principal was $37 billion, just 9% of the total. In contract law, valuable consideration is a very important aspect. It requires the parties to have a balance of risk to reward. With the current arrangement, the private banks have no skin in the game. They just print money out of thin air, while Canadians toil for a lifetime paying off this Ponzi debt. What we have is a failure of consideration, a seriously deficient contractual performance that causes a contract basis or inducement to cease to exist or become worthless. Canadian dollars have lost 82% of their value since 1971. Currency decline is now accelerating. There are three things in the world that deserve no mercy: hypocrisy, fraud, and tyranny. Frederick Robinson. Next is 1940 to 2005. This was a chart that Bill originally did. I just reconstructed it. Originally, I was only going to extend one line, the debt, to 2013, but I've experienced scope creep. The rabbit hole is deep. The chart isn't quite so boring now. Debt is taking off under the leadership of the private banksters. In 2005, the national debt was $828 billion. In 1974, I started my own construction business. By 1980, I was coining the phrase, "We are on a one-way road to Zimbabwe," as costs were rising so quickly. Now that road is provable. Also during this time, it was often reported in the media that wages were keeping up with the costs. Total balderdash. I knew back then the media was lying to me. The manufacturing process to make money consists of making an entry into a book. That is all. Each and every time a bank makes a loan, new bank credit is created. Brand new money. Graham Towers, Governor of the Bank of Canada, 1935 to 1955. Of all the contrivances for cheating the laboring classes of mankind, none has been more effective than that which deludes them with paper money. Daniel Webster. Next is 1940 to 2013. Well, the chart is getting more exciting now for the banksters. It's catastrophic for the people, especially the kids. Debt has gone from $18 billion in 1974 to $1.62 trillion in 2013. $46,333 per person. The orange dashed line represents debt to GDP, gross domestic product, a solid indicator of the economy. In 1962, it was at 33%. This shot up to 100% by 95. We will delve into this issue in the next video. Please subscribe. The yellow dot to the lower right of the chart is the figure the media typically parrots, $615 billion. That's not even close to being transparent. If the people were ever to find out what we have done, we would be chased down the streets and lynched. George H.W. Bush, June 1992. It's legalized grand larceny. Honorable Paul Helger, former defense minister. It is well enough that the people of this nation do not understand our banking and monetary system, for if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning. Henry Ford. Well, I'm catching on, Henry, and I hope my audience is too. You don't need to know every nut and bolt. We are just getting screwed. Since 1974, our average debt has increased at 8.25% per annum, and it will continue to increase. It's a Ponzi scheme, mathematically guaranteed to implode by design. Canada was printing 2.6 times as much money per capita as the US. This is outrageous and pure theft from the 99%. Since the drop in oil prices, Canada has increased money printing. Present inflation is pegged at 1.8%. Balderdash. I thought I was done here, but then a friend sent me a recent report from the Fraser Institute. Look at this. I was just getting the tip of the iceberg. I missed debt guarantees, contingent liabilities, and program obligations. The Fraser Institute in 2012 puts Canada's debt at $4.1 trillion, $243,476 per taxpayer, 230% of GDP. Wow. What happened to $615 billion?
The expansion of your currency supply in the last decade is outrageous. This is something that, you know, we should be sending all these people to jail. We should be sending all these people to jail. We should be sending all these people to jail.
We can expect lower wages, higher prices, higher taxes, more inflation, reduced services, delayed retirement, higher unemployment, currency devaluation, recession or depression, oppressive government, greater income equality, reduction or loss of pensions, increased foreclosures or bankruptcies, forfeiture of national assets, i.e. sea and rail. Kids and grandchildren will be enslaved by debt, confiscation of bank accounts. Those laws are already on the books, page 144, 145 of the 2013 budget. And finally, war. Most of those things are already happening. They will intensify. You won't recognize Canada when I get through with it. Stephen Harper, 2006. That's one promise he's keeping. Research these backroom deals. Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP. The dirtiest deal you never heard of. Security and Prosperity Partnership, SPP. The Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA. I understand that CETA and possibly the TPP contain language that will nullify the Bank of Canada forever. Time is of the essence. If this isn't high treason, what is? Honorable Paul Hellyer. Get Paul's latest book, Money Mafia. It's your wallet, Canada. Stand up or bend over. To every problem there's a solution. Here is 2 minutes of wisdom on those bankster bugs.
Guys, order another round because we're staying here. Yeah. What was I thinking going back to Ant Island? I mean, we just got here, and we have more than enough food to get us through the winter, right? Why go back?
But there was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. One ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss, they're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one? Are you kidding? How about this? You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? He's quite the motivational speaker, isn't he? Let's ride!
I am of the opinion that Canada does not have a debt problem. It has a fraud problem that has been perpetuated for decades. This has been a hostile act by the government against the people. The only reason it has been possible is that there has not been full disclosure to Canadians. The mainstream media have failed full disclosure to the people and have the appearance of a biased agenda. This should not be tolerated from media companies licensed to operate in this country. Diversity of media ownership is literally non-existent in Canada. The first step to correct this issue is to inform Canadians. Quite possibly, that is all that is required, for if Canadians knew how badly they are getting screwed, the problem may just fix itself by way of osmosis of an idea whose time has come. Next, demand that this be an issue in the upcoming election. Be tenacious, as politicals will avoid it like the plague. Here are some fun with numbers. If this video is viewed by 1,000 people, and those people tell 2 people each day, then those people tell 2 people each day, and so on, and so on. Every Canadian would know in 16 days. Everyone I have told, even strangers, has thanked me for this information. Jump on the social media and get the word out. We have prepared posters and handout cards that can be downloaded. The posters can be blown up to any size. Get them in front of the politicals and on TV. Help us prove the mighty pen. Thanks for listening.